What is up, everybody? It's your boy Flash from ALWT Gaming. As that is going through again, I am Malachi36 representing with It's the 9-Ball and Mildewy Carrot. Before I go on over to the intros, I have to do a full, pretty much, I guess, disclosure, if you will, and apologize that that I might be less in audio. So there might be a delay in my audio recording in general. So full disclosure if that's happening, but. Welcome to All Things Gaming, episode 35, season 2 for 2022, October 4th, the month of the year. That's what I gotta say, the month of the year, mainly because it's my birthday month, so I'm very excited for all that. But before we get into that, Mildewy Carrot, how are you doing today, good sir?
I'm here.
That's all we ask. That's all we ask, you know? And what's been going on with you? What's been new? I know I've been missing you guys for like the past week. I know I was able to produce last week's show, but due to technical errors, I was not able to be on the show at that time. But I'm back, baby. I'm back.
Still having technical difficulties though, so apologies for him in advance.
Yes, 100%.
And I just been catching up on games that have been launching new updates. Phasmophobia with 9-Ball, Gravity, TBF Abyss, and Abs. Playing through that stuff, getting the shit scared out of us. So looking for if this is what they're going to be doing in the Horror 2.0 update that people have been talking about, then move over Friday the 13th. You got Phasmophobia is coming through. Been getting back into some other survival games, Among Trees, Valheim, Area Z. I finished Black Skyland's current story. I know they've been doing some beta tests and updates on that, so I can't wait to see when they fully get that story done. Planet Crafter, No Place Like Home, Going Medieval. A lot of games I like to play that are, kind of like survival, exploration, builder games. Some have city building, some don't. So I just like that survival aspect and all, but also been getting on Gonzo Fortnite and Apex with Hey It's Abs and one of our other people who's not here, but with us in spirit, Barely Libu. So he's in. We were playing with him for a bit this last week. I'd say I've already forgotten my dates and times. I just know we played with him recently. So other than that, just living I guess a good gaming life.
Heard that. Yeah, we'll still blame it on COVID too. Mixing days together, it's still a COVID thing. So I get you. It's the 9-Ball Corner Pocket. This is your month. But before we jump into that, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Just been pretty much doing the same. We've been playing a lot of Phasmophobia. I also been trying to finish up certain games. I've been checking out some of these streamers that they've been going through there. I think Dan's Gaming has Horror Month. I usually love watching it, where they find a bunch of horror games and play those. Also been watching. I guess some of the people been watching having Yu-Gi-Oh playing, so checking out that one. Been playing some of Yu-Gi-Oh lately, and outside of that, I've been playing what is that game? Bloodstained Symphony of the Ritual of the Night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still trying to beat that. I'm like, the map's huge. I got like 40% of it done though. So
going for plat.
Not going for plat, just trying to finish it. It's pretty massive. It's a lot. I don't know if you ever played Symphony of the Night. It's sort of like that, to where it's a Metroidvania style game. So you have to do a lot of exploring, and you have to do certain backtracking to get items, stuff like that. Outside of that, like I've been saying, still playing Master Duel from time to time. Played a couple of Flanders games. I'm gonna tell you something. Might put Flanders back.
It's back not because it's bad, or back because it's too much of a troll.
I like how it works and everything. The mechanics of it. It's just nobody wants to play against Flanders. Generally, Yeah, generally when you pull out a Flanders deck, most people surrender like after the first turn. That's what I've been running into. The last 3 or 4 matches I played Flanders, it's just been people surrendering after like the first, I think, or second turn.
Fantastic. that means you're like Chuck Norris out here. You know what I mean? You're just knocking them out. One hit or quit us.
I will.
He's using a meta deck.
Have you seen Flanders Flash?
No, he doesn't. He hasn't played in a while.
Actually, so I actually have been playing periodically. I was about to say I've been actually playing periodically, pretty consistently actually, but I'm not playing like I'm just been doing the solo stuff.
So,
like I'm fully completed on all the solo stuff. Yeah,
Flanders is currently like secondary and top tier 3, which there's no tier 2 currently, but if there was, Flanders would probably be in it right now because it's ridiculous with what they've given it. You know, it's like
pretty. It's fun. It's just for me. I like how it plays. I like the loop and how it plays and everything. It's just playing against the Flanders deck. I can see why people think it's toxic, and some of the cards you can run into a Flanders because Flanders operates by banishing its cards and bringing them back from being banished. You don't send cards to the graveyard at all. There's virtually no cards that ever really go to the graveyard, and half your cards come back to you anyway.
Gotcha.
And it's not really a cheat deck because it's not. I wouldn't say it's as bad as, let's say, Despia, which is ran in everything in Master Duel.
Despia's tier 1.
It's because Despia's ran in every deck. You can run a Despia Dragon Maid. There's a Despia Invoked Engine. You can run a Despia in any deck, and it works. It basically just Todd Howard's the deck.
Yeah, Despia, and I think it's either Sword Soul, Tenye.
Sword Soul, Tri-Brigade is really good of an engine.
Tri-Brigade's come back, I know. Tenye and Sword Soul, Despia. Dinos has been coming. Virtual World's coming back.
It's just with Flanders, it punishes people hard for special summoning. So if you don't like special summoning, like people doing 50 special summons, you play Flanders because it really punishes special summoning and stuff.
You know what is not going to punish special summoning? Story number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. You guys are here for Video Game News. We're talking about some good stuff here. And yeah, to Nineball's point, I said it's not going to punish you, and technically I was wrong because it is going to punish you after we watch this thing. It is going to be talking about the Dead Space remake gameplay. Eddie Mackich from GameSpot says this in the article. EA and developer Motive have published a gameplay trailer for the upcoming Dead Space remake. The footage is impressive looking, but don't expect lengthy continuous segments of gameplay. This trailer never holds for more than a couple of seconds on a single shot, so fans will have to wait a bit longer to get a sense of what the game truly looks like in action. The Dead Space remake is rebuilt from the ground up in EA's Frostbite engine, and it's being released on PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and PC, but not PS4 or Xbox One. So players can expect new visuals, quote-unquote, and enhanced audio, and additional narrative elements to flesh out the story further. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to switch the screen for a hot second. I'm going to go on over here. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, correct something. It punishes, Flanders punishes you for normal summoning.
Heard that. There you go.
We'll talk about that later, though. We'll talk about that
Here we go. Rolling it in. All for you, Nineball. I know you're excited about this.
USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellyan responding to your distress call.
Isaac Clarke.
What have you got, Isaac?
Half the Ishimura's in the red. Engines, hull, the trams.
Can you handle it alone?
Fix the centrifuge. Get the fuel running.
This is Senior Medical Officer Nicole Brennan. Medical is overwhelmed. We need help.
Humanity will be made whole, Mr. Clark. With or without you.
Isaac, it's me. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening.
Nicole?
Special date.
Yeah. We have a date already.
Yeah, I remember that. It was.
So hearing that, I want to start. I want to start the conversation. I'm just going to loop around with no music, as we're playing in the background. But I want to start the conversation with you, Nine Ball, and then on over to Mildew and Carrot. Does this trailer, like, what do you think about the trailer first and foremost? Are you excited? Does this do anything? Does this enhance it? Are you still just as excited or not excited at all? Or are you just looking forward to Callisto Protocol?
No, this one looks fantastic. Actually, if they do it right, it looks really good. I was kind of concerned because I seen the part about the line gun, and everybody knows the line. I don't. Oh, you never played it. Dang it. But the line gun is is basically the gun he's using in the beginning. This is the gun that basically they give you at the start of the game, and it's really good. The line gun is probably one of I think it's the line. Yeah, it's probably one of the most powerful weapons in the game if you upgrade it right. So I was wondering if they're going to be able to incorporate the other weapons in, which they did. And as you're seeing on this scene, also you can tell that they took some inspiration from Dead Space 2. One of the biggest problems with this, one of the biggest things with Dead Space 1 is that they had zero G parts, but really you would just jump from one platform to another in zero G. And as you're seeing, you're free floating in space, which feels a whole lot better than just running up the wall still in zero G. Just because they said they really had problems with that. I want to say they had problems with it. They also showed the other weapons, so I want to see the compatibility with other weapons and do they give them their own strengths? Because it was quite interesting that the first weapon you got is basically the only weapon you needed. It really wasn't like I used like the Ripper. What was it? Yeah, I'm thinking of Unreal Tournaments. I keep thinking of the Ripjack. But the Ripper, basically, I use that every once in a while to play around with it, but most time your first weapon was by far the greatest. The flamethrower I never really used because it ate ammo and didn't really give you the amount of damage for it. I want to see how they do the story. From what I'm understanding, it's just not really a reimagining. This isn't like a Final Fantasy VII instance where it's a complete reimagining of it.
Yeah, this is
I
truly a
believe,
remake.
yeah,
Closer to like Resident Evil.
yeah. No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying like. I'm not talking about in terms of graphics. I'm in terms of story and stuff.
Right, yeah. Isn't Resident Evil kind of the same way where like it's pretty much more or less the same story, just prettier and upgraded mechanics?
Yeah, but I thought from what I'm understanding, Final Fantasy VII actually was a reimagining of the story, It had a
Yeah.
lot of
it
it
was
the
it was pretty
same,
much
You're
but
correct
certain
about
things
that.
change.
Yeah, you're correct about that.
exactly,
It
yeah.
definitely had the changes. I think what Malachi was trying to point out is that this
Oh,
seems more like the Resident Evil like
Yeah.
rework. This is
yeah,
where
okay, okay.
it's just a mechanical and graphical update to the game, but there's probably gonna be no story changes. Just maybe some changes
The
to how
story and
some boss fights maybe go around or some other fights because of the new mechanics. But other than that, stories possibly could be the same.
it need basically Dead Space had the story like this one had like it was pretty really good. It put one thing they did was when they initially because I remember reading about this back in Game Informer when it was in the magazine form, kids. Back when we got magazines of Game Informer.
What's a
I don't know how.
magazine?
I know. I wonder how many kids even know what Game Informer is. What is a Game Informer? I don't know. I think it's a
It's
website.
how it's old school people got the stuff before
Yeah,
everything
we
went
used to have to
digital.
go to actual GameStop and get Game Informer. I had it mailed to our house.
Or when we went to Kroger's to pick up groceries, if they even carried it, you know.
Yep. But I remember when they initially created this game, they created it on a sole purpose of putting an ordinary person in an extraordinary situation when they talked about it. They gave you a lot of weapons on this, but you never felt like the Doom guy. Like if you ever seen y'all play Doom, right?
Yeah, I know, Tim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You don't feel like that Doom guy that's just unstoppable.
It
At
seems
about
like Alien Isolation almost, where it's like you've got these things, and it's like
you
where from what I've seen from Dead Space, like you definitely could fight them, like you definitely have the ability to, but there's probably going to be points where it's like, do you really want to do that though? You know,
there's
so
certain parts in there you have to though.
yeah,
And like
that's definitely there. Isolation, a lot of it was like you had to sneak around fully, like because you really couldn't fight them until you got like possibly to like the in-game points where like you could get the weaponry or gear to actually do anything to these creatures. Here, you start off with it, so it gives me that vibe of Isolation of like you're in that dark horror space, and you're trying to navigate through, trying to figure stuff out, and yeah, you've got the ability to fight stuff, but there's probably times where it's just like like let's just go around them, you know?
yeah, they took inspiration like heavily. They was heavily inspired from what I remember reading a long time ago. It was inspired by I want to say Aliens and Event Horizon.
Okay, I can definitely, like I said, I definitely saw the Aliens. Event Horizon's kind of a new one.
The Event Horizon part is, it's not just creatures. I don't know if anybody knows the lore. What drives people mad is actually the markers, and the markers that make. If you ever play like like some of the other ones, like Extraction and stuff, it's pretty messed up. Some of the things that happen. The markers drive people mad. Like if you ever seen like they had like before Dead Space came out, I remember watching the prequels of it. And it was sort of funny because the people on that planet before the Ishimura came in was complaining that people was just going crazy. And the doctors was wondering what was going on. A religion had formed around the markers and all that. But like I said, the lore is pretty massive. And like I said, I'm kind of sad that they cut it short with 3, and I'm hoping that they finish it before. But going to this one, I am thoroughly impressed with what they're doing with it. And this one is one of those games where some games I would say, oh, it don't need a remake. This is one that I would say, because it came out back in 2000, wouldn't it, this was 2004, 2005, I want to say?
yeah. It came out a long time ago. Hold on, let me see right now. Let's see. Dead Space release date is 2008.
2008.
Yep, October 14th, 2008.
Yeah. This one came out, and it's quickly shot up to one of the top horror games. The story was excellent. I liked the story. Like they said, they probably have more communication, like you've seen in the trailer, and you probably didn't pick up on this, but Isaac was talking. In the original first one, Isaac didn't really talk at all.
Yeah,
That's
they
why on the
didn't even go
second,
for a voice actor for him, right?
I don't know what happened, but they said on the second. That's why it was on the second and third one. They wanted him have to have more of a personality than just feel like Isaac, go turn on the power generator over here. And Isaac's more or less just this silent, fetch guy that goes out there. Oh, we're having problems over at deck 30. Isaac, go over there and go get that. And Isaac will go over there. The story was good. I loved kind of the twist, and I would say it's spoiler, but I'm not really going to spoil it here because I don't know. Have you ever finished it, Mildewy?
No, don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, and even so, because of how close the remake is, I wouldn't even say I wouldn't even mention any spoilers right now.
Yeah, but Dead Space 1 and 2 were really good. Dead Space 3 is still a competent one.
But it's not like the best. It didn't go up or down or anything. It just kind of just was there.
EA put a lot of stuff in there. It's ironically probably if Flash was to play with it would be 3. It has multiplayer the way you can play as 2 people, and number 2, it's more of a shooter than what it is an actual horror game. And it plays more like a shooter with horror elements than an actual horror game. And I felt like that's what the big problem was, and that's where the disparity came in. When EA came in, they said they wanted a game, and everybody knew it was bad. They said this one will cater to everyone. And the minute you hear that, they said something down the lines of that. Yeah, it went downhill from there. No, appeal to a broader audience. That's what it was. I believe they said.
They mixed in a little bit of Call of Duty in there, saying this will work.
And they put in at the time. This was a time where EA was also known for their amount of microtransactions, and they did put that in part 3. But this one looks really good. I mean, I'm really interested to see how this goes, and it turns out. I watched some of the
Would you say you're more excited for this, or would you say you're more excited for Callisto Protocol?
Probably this more than Callisto Protocol. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm excited. I think both of them look pretty good. But I feel more like Callisto Protocol looks very close to this in a lot of ways. If they do it right, it should be really good. They already have the template and the story. I love Callisto Protocol, and I want to see how they do it. And I think it can go down. It can be a very good game and a very good franchise. But I need to know more of the story. I don't really know the story of Callisto Protocol. Right. I know there's a guy in prison. I know creatures invaded the prison or something.
Invaded.
Yeah.
From the medical locker.
But I don't really know the lore outside of that. Dead Space, I'm well aware of the lore there is. If you want to get a quick rundown, I think there's one on Arcade Cloud. They do like a 3-minute. They do stories in 3 minutes, like entire. I think they did one for, I want to say Dark Souls in 3 minutes. I think it went over 3 minutes, but they did one for Doom. They do like Arcade Cloud, I believe, on YouTube. I believe does them in 3 minutes, and there is lengthy ones which I think are really good. But Dead Space is one franchise that I say that it needs a lot. It needs a lot more love, and it needs more support than what happened to it.
For Mildewy, on your aspect of what you just saw, and coherent to what Nineball is saying, or do you more or less agree? Like, did this trailer do anything for you? Did it not do anything for you? Excited, not excited? Or are you also looking forward to the Callisto Protocol over this, or like where you at?
I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to both. I mean, Callisto Protocol is a new story, new aspect, so it's kind of interesting. I mean, it kind of does have a similar feel to Dead Space when you look at the two of them, because, like, one, you don't know where the stuff came from in Callisto, but, a lot of times when you got this stuff, it's either A, ancient viruses, or B, it's like, oh, we can do this and control it and make humanity better. Oh, better means a horrific monster nightmare version. So it doesn't really make me like not like a Silent Hill remake would but I definitely am looking forward to it. I was actually just checking, clicking around and seeing they've actually got the pre-order looks like it's already set up for it on
Yeah,
there. So
it was actually at the end of the
yeah,
trailer.
I saw it on there, but I didn't
I
see
want
like
to see how
where it
much
was
it
listed
costs.
to. It's like 60.
Oh,
They do still though have the original Dead Space and Dead Space 2 for $20 each.
I bought
There
the
are some.
original.
I know you. I'm not talking to you, Nine Ball. I'm talking to the other audience members who might want to
Oh
know.
yeah.
Those people. They also have Dead Space 3 if you're willing to go that far, you know. But yeah, so they've got that on there. I definitely added it to my wish list. I'm gonna wait and see because I know we got, I think, a sale coming up here at the end of October for Steam.
October 10th and 11th for
That's
Steam.
Amazon.
That's Amazon. Yes, there is one in October at the end of October too.
Yeah, it's the fall one, so it's definitely get those wish lists together, guys, because never know what's going to go on sale. Those are normally the big times.
And I
They're
believe
really
Dead
big.
Space frequently. I want to say the Dead Space originals frequently drops at like $4 or $5.
A lot of times I've seen them do that. I know EA Plays got like this monthly thing or something for them. I saw that, I was like, I just laughed at it. But yeah, so I mean, it's not like a high, it's not like a low. It's definitely I can't wait to see what they do. You know, how they upgrade stuff. To me, it kind of feels like what they did with the Mass Effect Legendary Editions with Mass Effect 1, where they just redid the graphics, redid the whole mechanics because the mechanics were shit in the first game. No offense, guys. You know, some of the shooting mechanisms and everything were just blech. But it seems like they've definitely reworked them and all, and it'd also be interesting to see if they've added any new like little weaponry tweaks and stuff like that. Which, to be honest, when you looked at the trailer towards the end, it looked like it was definitely holding a different gun compared to the first. So I'm like, I feel like they do have the capability maybe switching between at least a couple of weapons or something.
You could always switch. They usually will allow you to hold, I want to say, 4 guns. I want to say you can have 4 different guns, but
Call of Duty ain't got that.
It's just the first gun they give you. That what was it called?
The line.
Yeah, I believe it was the line gun. Because there was like a whole challenge about that.
Yeah, but no, it definitely looks really good. Like something that, you know, definitely has got that, you know, try and survive, figure out what's going on situation. So, you know, I can't wait to see what they do with it. You know, because remakes sometimes can be good, and sometimes, you know, it just overlay it. So,
plasma cutter. It was the plasma cutter. Okay, I knew I was messing up on the thing. The plasma cutter is the first one they give you. The line gun is the one that fires underneath and has that little bomb on there for its second alt fire. I use the line gun every now and again, but like I said, the pulse rifle I never really touched because you had to eat through so much ammo, and the flamethrower ate bullets alive. I mean, I never really used flamethrower whatsoever.
So yeah,
yep.
So, I mean, it sounds like it's
going
to be fun to play. You know,
the javelin gun too was fun. Nailing things to the wall was always a joy.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously you guys already know I'm not really the biggest horror franchise gamer or anything like that. So this doesn't really do anything for me other than it looks pretty. And I mean, I'm excited for you guys that have played it and that have adored this series from before and hopefully get to re-experience that as more of the Final Fantasy VII remake portion of it versus the Duke Nukem portion of it. Like Mildewy says, sometimes a remake can be a wonderful thing, and then sometimes it can be complete and utter doo doo. So let's just hope that this is not the case. And I do want to move on over to. We have a lot of news stories today, so we're not going to fly by them because we do want to talk about them. But I do want to talk about story number 2, which is Witcher multiplayer. So this is a new person that's been on this show for that I've never mentioned this person's name before, so I apologize beforehand if I mess it up. But Imogen Meller from PC Gamer says this in their article. Though The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is known as one of the biggest single-player games of all time, the next Witcher game could feasibly one of the best multiplayer. CD Projekt Red is making some announcements today, and one thing we didn't expect was to see that an announcement going forward, there'll be a multiplayer elements to most of their games. That what that means is still slightly mysterious, but it definitely involves The Witcher. In an image tweet, CD Projekt Red showed both Ciri and Geralt with the caption introducing multiplayer to most of our games to enrich the single player experience, end quote. So looks like there will be some multiplayer elements in the next Witcher, but how deep that goes is yet to be uncovered. I have a few theories though as of right now. The first is that Gwent and minigames within the Witcher 4 could have multiplayer elements to it. It's not impossible that the NPCs you play against could actually be other people, which would be like a smooth way to incorporate two together while not breaking immersion. So, starting off with Mildewy, Witcher multiplayer, you in or you out?
Okay, for all of a sudden, as soon as you said that, I just went back to Aladdin, King of Thieves. Like, are you in or out? Like, wow, my brain is just, I don't know where the frick it's at. It kind of feels like they're pulling, like, the Returnal and Ghost of Tsushima type card where it's like, all right, we got the main game, now we're just going to throw in a multiplayer thing. So, I mean, if it's got something like, if it does like either what Returnal does, where it's multiplayer into the main campaign, or if it does what Ghost of Tsushima does, it sounds like either one could be good. But if it's just, multiplayer, like, some of these other games I've seen where it's just, oh, we have multiplayer aspect, and it's just you with like a bunch of other Witchers or whatever going online. Like in Tomb Raider 1 had multiplayer, and it was just like you, like playing as Laura, a bunch of other just random survivors or people just going around shooting, just having a battle royale, shoot 'em up deathmatch style thing. So, I guess it just depends upon how they do it and all. I know they said they had some theories, but I'll just wait until they actually confirm what they're doing on it. I still have a lot to catch up on with the Witcher stuff. I think I've only played like one, and it's been a long, long time if I have, so I have to do refreshers on it all. But I just say, best of luck, and hopefully you do it well enough to where those who like to co-op play with people can get a good experience.
Yeah, I'm somewhat in the same boat. The only opposite thing for me is that I haven't played any of the Witcher games. Tried to start one a while back, but I waited way too long, and that game is beyond dated, beyond all measure. So it was a little hard for me to get into. But what has me interested is the Netflix series, The Witcher. That's what actually got me into like the Witcher train, if you will, because I watched all season one, watched most, if not all, of season two. Um, and I am intrigued. I am intrigued by the characters there and everything like that. And I'm there with you. Like if it's something that is like more of a Ghost of Tsushima style, or if it's something that's like actual campaign, you can have all these different Witchers be able to go on like a Dragon Age esque adventure. I think that would be pretty awesome. But if it's something that's just like, hey, yeah, here's a single player version, but then here's like a little mini game, it's just gonna be a multiplayer is just a whole bunch of mini games and stuff like that. That's gonna be a little bit more of a turnoff for me. Like I want to do something that's more again campaign driven. I keep going back to this example, but the time period where me, you, your brother, and Shaolin Keys, we all got to play Fuse together. That was a great time. We're each our individual person. We're going through the story. We're watching the cutscenes. We're laughing at the jokes. We're crying at the sad moments. All that good stuff. We didn't literally cry, but just stuff like that. I'm just saying in general, like that level
I don't know what you're talking about.
that level of immersion is something that I want to experience with you guys. It's literally no different than us going to a movie together and watching a movie. You know what I mean? Like that same level versus just like we can watch the credits together, but we can't watch the actual base movie. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I want to have my cake and eat it too in those particular instances. So I am very curious to see how they're going to do that. I will say this. I slightly disagree that this is going to be of the Returnal approach, mainly just because it sounds like this is going to be something that they're going to incorporate on the next IP. As far as like Ghost of Tsushima and Returnal, both of them are already existing single players, and then they rolled in very impressive multiplayer aspects to those games. So that's definitely been a plus there. So I don't know if that's going to necessarily be the same thing, or if they're going to backtrack and put multiplayer in Witcher 3. Highly doubt it, but if they do that, I think that will be even more enticing to me to go ahead and pick up Witcher 3. But that's kind of where I'm at on it. Like I'm excited for it, but like I'm with you, Mildew. You have to hear more information. Nine Ball, do you have an opinion about the matter concerning the Witcher series for this?
I'm kind of in a boat with you. I've tried and tried to play those, and it's like for some reason I start them and just I don't know what happens.
It's the same thing with Dragon Age with you.
I just I just can't get into them like that.
I feel it.
I mean I'm happy. The gameplay looked really good. If they do, like I said, if they do it right, yeah. But I don't really know that much about the mini. I've never even played Gwent, and I play card games a lot.
Mm.
I've never really played. I don't really know how Gwent works. I can't really talk about this one. I don't really know what to go.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, like I said, we'll have to see. Maybe if the next Witcher 4 comes out and it's going to be multiplayer based right then and there, 3 players, 3 of us could jump on it, try it out, see if we like it, go from there. What is something I want to talk about as well as story number 3. But before we get into that, I want to tell you guys about Raise Energy. You guys can go ahead and get yours from Rep Sports, REPP Sports.com. Type in ALWT Gaming at checkout. Get 15% off your Raise Energy drinks. It is quite delicious. You will not regret it, especially if you like to have drinks that have 0 sugar in it. So REPP Sports.com. Type in ALWT Gaming at checkout. Get 15% off. And then also a little fantasy gaming critic updates for you guys. Scores have slightly shifted, and I know that we had talked about it last week. Just kind of give you guys a little up to speed, and we got some games that's coming out soon, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that and see what that's going to look like. What we do currently have is in first place, Carrot Patch Inc. He is at 85 points. He currently has Gran Turismo 7 for 17 points, Tunic 15 points, Splatoon 3 13 points, Stray 14 points, Salt and Sacrifice 5 points. I didn't realize that dropped, I guess. Advanced Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp pending. Return to Monkey Island 17 points, and he has an open spot, and he has a counter pick of Chocobo GP, which got him 5 points because he counter picked that correctly. So again, he's sitting in first place right now with 85 points. Second place is Make Ohio Great Again, Moga. He has Elden Ring, 31 points. Pokemon Legends Arceus, 14 points. Sifu, 10 points. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, 12 points. Marvel's Midnight Suns, pending. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, 17 points. He has 2 open spots and has a counter pick of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is not coming out this year. Third place, we have Zaka Corp, who has Tiny Tina's Wonderland, 8 points. Saints Row, -7 points. I feel like that went down. Total War Warhammer 3, 16 points. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, 18 points. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, pending. Scorn, pending, and we're going to talk about that today. Live Alive, 11 points. Star Ocean, The Divine Force, pending. Marvel's Midnight Suns is his counter pick, and that is currently pending right now. Third place, yours truly with ALWT Gaming. I have Horizon Forbidden West, 18 points. Plague Tale Requiem, pending for this month. Ghostwire Tokyo, 7 points. Gotham Knights, pending for this month. King of Fighters 15, 10 points. Mario Strikers Battle League, 3 points. The Callisto Protocol, pending. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, pending. The counter pick of Bayonetta 3, which is pending for this month. In fourth place is Renzoku-kin, who has God of War Ragnarok, pending. Triangle Strategy, 13 points. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, not coming out this year. Chocobo GP, -5 points. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, 15 points. Metro Prime 4, pending. Digimon Survive, 6 points. Slime Rancher 2 is not coming out this year. That is not coming out this year. He has a counter pick of Diablo Immortal, which leaves him at 34 points. And currently in last place, which is starting to climb up the ladder, it looks like a little bit, is Illuminatus Living. He has Dying Light 2, Stay Human, 6 points. Bayonetta 3, pending. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, 2 points. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, pending. Diablo Immortal, -5 points. Shovel Knight Dig, 12 points. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, pending. He has an open spot and he has a counter pick of Saints Row, which got him 7 points. So that is your fantasy gaming league that we are in. And if you guys do not know how that works, I'll explain it to you guys next week because we're going to talk about it next week as well. But story number 3. There's a lot of stories in this one because PlayStation had a lot of stuff that came out within the week. So bear with us. First story. It's a short one. Eddie Mackich from GameSpot says this in the article. The PlayStation 5 finally has a native Disney Plus app. Disney has announced that a new version of Disney Plus app is out now around the world for PS5 and is designed for the PS5. The earlier version was a PS4 app that ran on the PS5. And the big difference is that the new version for PS5 supporters, for PS5 supports 4K HDR playback. The earlier app capped visuals at 1080p, according to The Verge. So just a little short one there for you guys. If you guys is really excited about Disney Plus or anything like that, they have an updated PS5 version of the app versus the PS4 version that was on the PS5. So there you go. Good news there. Any quick little shout outs about that at all? Or you guys want to go on to the second sub story? Next. All right, here we go. So this one is exciting for me. This was exciting for me, mainly because I do want to jump more inside VR. So we'll take a look here. But Darren Bonthis from GameSpot says this in the article. Sony has ambiguous plans for its next generation of virtual reality hardware, as it plans to have 2 million units of the PSVR 2 headset ready by March of next year. Mass production of the virtual reality headset reportedly began in September via Bloomberg and has not yet faced any supply chain constraints. With the PS5 continuing to be in high demand due to its limited availability since the launch in November 2020, Sony also plans to have more console stocks on the shelves in the early 2023, according to Bloomberg sources. Does this excite anybody other than myself?
Yeah, it would probably if people had more PlayStation 5s to play them on.
The thing I will say, and again, I am still in that camp that if you don't have a PS5 at this particular time, you were not trying. You're absolutely not trying.
You might not be able to get them now.
No, you could have. You could have. I don't know. Like I personally haven't been trying now, so I can't say if that's true or not. But there's definitely ample amounts of time for you guys to be able to get one. Definitely ample amount of time. So if you don't have it and it's hurting your feelings that I'm saying this, you just didn't try hard enough. You flat out didn't.
Well, maybe
I can keep preaching my sermon where I was able to get 11 in a year on my own, and I'm not like a super genius or anything like that.
Now.
That's neither here nor there.
I'm feeling
that is neither. How you feel attacked? You already have one. You both have one.
For the people that tried and maybe they have financial problems.
These are for the people in particular that are like, hey, I'm going to wait because I'm going to let you guys work all the kinks, all the issues out, all that good stuff. I will say there hasn't been a lot of console launches, like console launch wise. There hasn't been a ton of console launch issues since like the PS4. Which is only like one generation back, yes, but I still have my PS4 from launch. I got my PS5 at launch. I have an Xbox Series X at launch. Well, close to launch, like launch window. You know what I mean? Like, and all of them are working perfectly fine. I haven't
buy a Steam Deck.
What's up? Yeah, you got a Steam Deck at launch. You know what I mean? So it's just in general, if that's your excuse, that's on you. Now we already passed we're 2 years into it now, and if you have the funds, I would be considerate and say if you have the funds and you're complaining about yourself not getting a PS5 at this time, it is 100% your fault. Yes, scalpers are a factor, but you right now have not tried hard enough to get one. That's all I got to say. I even walked inside of a Best Buy one day as I was just getting my car checked out, all that good stuff, looking to get the radio on my vehicle, I walked in and asked them, just out of the blue, I was like, do you guys have any PS5s available? Just wondering what they would say. And they said, you were an hour late. We just sold the last one. You know what I mean? Now, granted, I wasn't fiending for one, but it was right there in my grasp almost. Like it was right there in the store. I walked in.
It wasn't there.
He said I saw. He said I saw that we had some left. Let me go ahead and see if we have any more. He went back and checked. He came back out. He's just like, you know what? The guy that you just saw that walked out of here, he actually has the last one. There you go. That's all I got to say. So if you don't have one right now in 2022 and are complaining that you're not getting one, it's because you should have tried it before this time period right now. That's all I got to say. But anyway.
Oh, God, you are sitting on a high throne right now. Wow. he went to the top of the hill.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I have to say about that.
You weakling. You're not trying hard enough.
Sub story number 3 for PlayStation Nation here. Eddie Mackich from GameSpot says this in the article. This one might intrigue both of you guys on this. PlayStation company Sony recently increased its investments into Elden Ring and Bloodborne Studio from software's parent company Kadokawa, and the move might involve a push in non-gaming projects. PlayStation Herman Hulse told Reuters that the company thinks first and foremost about video games, but transmedia efforts through its PlayStation Productions division may be on the table as well. Quote, you should think of the collaborations on the game development side first and foremost, but it's not unthinkable with our PlayStation Productions effort that we explore opportunities, Hulse says. Sony increased its stake in Kadokawa to 14.09% earlier this year, and many wonder what the purpose of the increased investment may be. We still don't know for sure, but now we know a potential From Software TV show or movie might be in the cards. PlayStation Production is Sony's relatively newly established division that is reasonable for adapting PlayStation games for TV and film. One of its first big productions was the Uncharted movie starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. Upcoming productions include Gran Turismo and Ghost of Tsushima films. So hearing this,
Turismo?
Yeah, that one I have no.
Isn't that just the Daytona 500? Just the movie version of it? We had Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise.
My assumption is that it's going to be something similar like of the Fast 5 series. Like they're going to make, because honestly, Gran Turismo in general doesn't even really have a plot. Like it's just you're in the car, you're racing, all that good stuff.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah,
is it the first few Fast and Furious, or is it the ones where their cars are in space? The later.
The last one where they launched the Corvette into space or whatever the hell it was.
He just
it'll be. I think it'll be like. And again, I don't know what that will necessarily look like. I don't know what that will necessarily look like because ultimately, Gran Turismo is all about the cars in general. So as long as the races are good and the plot is decent, I think that movie's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to turn heads. I don't think it's going to blow up the media or anything like that. But I think it's just going to be fine. Ghost of Tsushima one is the one that I am actually excited about.
Okay, I can see that, Ghost of Tsushima one. Yeah, that's definitely one that you can easily do.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, that's what I'm getting at. I love The Last Samurai. So if we were to have something like this about more of the actual like origins of Tsushima, which is a real place and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like I think that would be very interesting following the story of Sakai and everything like that. Gran Turismo, you straight up could just make a brand new. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It might be a series or it might be a movie. Or I'm not sure about that one. But
I'd say it's series. I could definitely get away with that one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it'll be very interesting as far as how they're going to do that. But my question to you guys, if this is what they're planning on doing, is going to be a movie or a series, how do you guys feel about a Bloodborne movie?
Huh.
I'd
You know
have
what I
to
mean?
say maybe a TV series, to be honest.
Yeah, I was about to say this.
No,
This is not going to be a World of Warcraft instance to where it just came
no, no,
out and
no,
it
no, no.
disappeared. This is either going to
My
be a
question
really
is,
good one, or it's going to be a Super Mario Brothers incident.
now, if it is pretend there's a Bloodborne series officially announced, right? It's coming to
Yeah.
Amazon Prime or something like that. Let's say that happens. Is it going to have characters in there that's going to be very Games of Thrones-ish and Attack on Titan and Walking Dead to where they're going to die and you don't know who's going to die? Is that how you can get the Bloodborne effect there?
You
No,
probably would go for kind of maybe a Berserk style too with it.
Even for Berserk. Even for Berserk,
a-
they had people that died on that initial party and you were not expecting them to die.
well, yeah, no, the initial party you're going to have die, but the main character is not, because the main character is the one that kind of carries through. You know, like there was a lot of bosses or people that you fought in there that were actually original people.
Yeah, they
You
were
know,
actually good people.
so you could do it towards the beginning of the Hunters, like with the old Hunters. You'll see where everything started to go mad and all, and it's like this one hunter, this group's just trying to navigate up to that point of Bloodborne. You know, do that before story point. You know, to where it's like you're getting into, the whole blood ritual where they actually, I don't want to do a spoiler for those who haven't played and want to, but especially in the old DLC, it's like when they committed the sin and then started the nightmares and everything with the church and then the college. It's just there's a lot of lore there that you could make a very good TV series off of. And yeah, I would say a lot of people are definitely gonna die. It's one of the main aspects of Bloodborne. It's kind of in the name, blood. Blood's gonna run. So I'll shut up though and let Nineball talk because he definitely looks like he's excited to say something.
When I was listening to you, it hit me pretty good. To be honest, this would not do good as a TV show. This is one of those ones I would say would be 100% an anime. This one would have very much a dark anime feel to it. I feel like it would be much better like that than them trying to put it in a TV form. So I'm gonna ask you, which one do you think would actually be better, a live action TV show or an anime?
So when you actually bring that up, so here's the thing. So we've kind of seen with a lot of like these Resident Evil movies and stuff like that, all these vampire, Walking Dead, all that stuff, to where they've got kind of the aspect down in terms of like that genre to kind of incorporate in for Bloodborne in a way, So like your main aspects are, the beast blood, the fury of that at the beginning. Then you've got the poison one for the snakes and all that. You've got a lot of that, which you could easily do CGIs and all. I think you could do it, but to be honest, I feel like with the anime though, you would have a lot more control of that fantasy aspect, and they would probably be able to blend more in with it. Do I think that they could do better one or the other? I would have to really say it depends upon who the studio is behind it, to be completely honest, because that's kind of one of the biggest things people tend to see is not just that, oh, this would be better in this adaptation or this adaptation. Like, to be honest, this one can run in both. It just depends upon who's the one directing, the style, the art directors behind it and all. That's the big concern. So, but we're going to go ahead and finish that movie. No, kidding. What's up, my guy?
So I was about to say, as you said that, I was sitting here thinking about it, and I think it will be more successful as an anime, but I think it'll be more interesting as a live action. And hear me out. This is what I mean by this.
Okay.
In the anime aspect, I do think again it'll be super successful. But when I think about other animes that's kind of in that genre, I don't think it would stand out necessarily because you have a Devil May Cry anime. You do have a Castlevania anime. You know what I mean? You have these different style of animes that kind of already feel like they're in that genre already. I don't see anything live action wise that's too like the only thing that I can think of that's Bloodborne like style that's like a movie or a series would be that movie Van Helsing. That's the only thing I can kind of think of that's in that same that gives me that. And outside of that, I can't really think of anything else. I mean, even the movie Sucker Punch, that did like
I
that
wouldn't
was
put Sucker
still.
Punch.
No, Sucker
Definitely.
Punch
That's
is
what I'm
definitely
saying.
not.
Nowhere.
I wouldn't either.
Um,
I'm right there with you. I wouldn't either. But that's the only thing I can really think of at this time that would kind of even come close to Hellsing. I think
Sandman,
Hellsing's probably the closest you would get.
Sandman, to me, sort of in that vein because it does deal with the waking and dreaming, but it's not nearly as, let's say, dark, violent, or anything like that. I feel like it
Mm.
would kind of be like that mixed with some Game of Thrones in there for me personally, because you did have the waking and dreaming worlds in Bloodborne, and the
Like I said, it
Sandman.
depends upon what aspect they're doing though. The waking and dreaming worlds was mainly used when the hunts were really getting really bad, and that's kind of like where Bloodborne takes place. And is you're a hunt, is you're someone taking place in that dream to try and end the nightmare. This I would probably say would probably be to me. Just I feel like you've got more chance of really bringing people in, possibly with kind of like how Edge Runner is. Edge Runner is before Cyberpunk truly takes place.
Yeah,
I feel like you could definitely do it to where we learn more about you know Vicar Amelia, the first hunters. I forgot her name, the one from the clock tower, the one that is just such a nasty fight in the DLC. But like the original hunters, the ones that you actually learn about inside of Bloodborne, I think it'd be really good to see them going up into that aspect of creating that nightmare, which causes Bloodborne to become the problem and become the effect to cause all this to happen in Yarnum and all that. So I could definitely see that, and I feel like you could do it either way, because like Edge Runner is doing it really well, with its showing everything on Netflix. Like if you've got a good studio behind it, I feel like they could pull it off. I feel like animations, so you can get away with a lot more blood and gore than you really kind of can sometimes with a lot of these live action films because of the film industry and their rules and settings. But I feel like you could definitely also get more of a personal touch, a personal like connection relation with these people if you made it like that real, kind of like The Witcher in a way, the Witcher series. So I feel like they could go either way. I'm just going to go back to my original statement of I feel like it will just depend upon if they do this, what studio they choose to use and who's behind the art direction and everything. I think is going to be the biggest um, points to try and drive this into a good story, regardless of it's an animation or if it's a live action.
Agreed.
So I mean, and here's another side, and this is just a complete shoot nine ball, like not nine ball. This is a Hail Mary, like out in the way, scratch the nine ball off the table, sorry, nine ball. But it's like, you could do, it's like where the first parts, if you are going to have the nightmare in there, you could do the first part in real life. And then when you go into the nightmare, you've got that animation aspect because it's a nightmare point. But most people would actually
That'd be
kind of want to
insane.
do maybe like a Pan's Labyrinth type of thing, where it's like they
Yeah.
both like you can't tell the difference between the two. Which, to be honest, would be more to Bloodborne's aspect because you can't tell the difference between the waking and the dreaming worlds. So
you
A
would
little
need
deception
somebody kind
action
of.
right there.
Well,
Yeah.
you would need probably some kind of director like that would really do something like that. Like,
Yeah, I think the director of this, like whoever made Deception, I think that would actually mix in with other support. Obviously, I think that Deception was fantastically written because again, Leonardo DiCaprio played that role very well, and it was like, is this reality? Is it, like when the movie ended, and the coin was just spinning, you're like, is he in reality? Like they made the viewer themselves kind of question it. So I think that would be very cool. Yeah. One thing I do want to ask. Well, one thing I want to point out as we move on over to the last sub story of the main core stories, and I want to reiterate, Herman Holtz did say you should think of collaborations of game development side first and foremost. So before we do that, obviously this looks like it's more of like talking about movies and shows and everything like that. But does this mean that we are potentially going to be getting a Bloodborne 2 or a Bloodborne remake with PlayStation?
I feel like with that one, like I was bringing up with that, to be honest, it depends on where the movie's at. If he goes the military route and it comes out before, which when he spoke about it, it makes a lot more sense to do that than go from the game's perspective. Like, what they're doing with
Edge Runner.
well, with Edge Runner,
Well,
or like I'm talking about with what is that? The Last of Us. I feel like,
Yeah.
to be honest, that this is going to be. They could, but I would have to see. I'm going ahead, Flash. You go ahead.
This actually goes into the story number 3, so, the last story. So before I say that, yeah, they have an HBO series for The Last of Us, and then they had the remake that just recently came out, right? The last story that we're talking about is a Horizon Zero Dawn remake that's going to have a PS5 version. But guess what's coming out after that? Not even that, like, it sounds like it's not going to be that much further behind it, but that's going to be the Netflix series of Horizon. So that's already in. Yeah, that is something that is facts. Like, that's actually happening with Netflix.
Yeah, I just
So,
was reading. What was I reading about? Because another one's coming out with the Medium's coming out with a series as well. From the same people that did the Witcher series, they're doing the Medium series.
but I rewind all that to say, going back to our sub story number 3, if PlayStation Productions is looking at it this way, their IPs as also filmmaking opportunities, then we very well could get a Bloodborne anime. But before that Bloodborne anime or movie or live action series comes out a Bloodborne remake.
Yeah, I just basically. Well, the reason why I brought up the anime and real one is because of how the two mediums operate. Like I said, The Last of Us
Right.
operates really well as a real life show because of the setting and how it's mainly grounded in reality.
Yeah.
And it really works as a live action TV show if it's done right. And like I said, I'm still happy they put Troy Baker in there because he's such a talented voice actor. And I haven't beaten the game, but his voice acting really outdid himself in that game. And a lot of people don't. They basically like. I love sound. Sound is probably one of my favorite things in soundtracks. Music and voice acting and sound plays a big part in there. And the same goes for in live action acting and stuff. So that's the reason why I brought it up, because I feel more like this one can be over the top with like the creatures being enormously big and stuff and crazy battles, and sometimes that lends itself sometimes better to anime because of anime can most of the time is known for that.
What, you don't want Michael Bay in here?
No, we don't want every creature explode.
Just like story number 4, every creature could explode. With story number 4 on here, Dan Both this from GameSpot says Horizon Zero Dawn could be getting a significant upgrade as a new report claims that the accessibility features, graphic modes, and quality of life improvements of the gameplay itself will bring Guerrilla Games' 2017 title up to the similar standards as its 2022 sequel, Horizon Forbidden West. As spotted by MP First and corroborated by BGC, new character models, lighting, and animations will reportedly be added alongside a suite of accessibility options, essentially balancing between being both a remake and a remaster of the process. Several of these upgrades can be found on the PC version of the Horizon Zero Dawn that was released in 2020, although the game mostly reused the same assets as the PS4 edition. So, and there's also another thing I want to throw out there too as well. I didn't include it here just because I didn't know how much time we would actually have. But on a side note, it looks like that the developers, Guerrilla Games, is working on another entry for Horizon that is multiplayer. And the way that they had explained that is that it's going to be very similar to a Monster Hunter style, but with the big freaking monsters and stuff like that they have in the Horizon world.
Yeah,
which is going to be very interesting.
You got Thunder Jaws and a bunch of stuff, and if you go into Forbidden West territory, you got some bigger boys out there that are just
So just throwing that out there. But hearing this, a straight up, pretty much from the ground up PS5 version remake of Horizon Zero Dawn, not the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment, but more of the Resident Evil 2 remake treatment. Where are you guys at for this? Do you think that this needs to happen when the game itself was just 5 years old? Or like what's I have my opinion and I have my answer about it, but I'm curious to see what you guys have to say about it first before I spew out my knowledge as far as what I believe is Sony's doing here for this particular IP.
I don't know. I kind of want to hear his opinion first, Nineball. What do you think?
I'll go first.
Nineball's like, no.
You said you'll go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
He's like, nah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna make this short. I'm gonna say no. This one is actually fine. I don't know why they have to remake this. It's sort of like in the same vein sometimes where a game is good and they keep remaking it. I mean, yeah, I praise Dead Space, but Dead Space came out in 2008. This is a 2017 game, and it doesn't look that bad. I mean, do we really need a remake? And it's sort of like sometimes in the vein of, like, for example, I was going off about was it last week? I was going off about the what is that? The Last of Us remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they have a PlayStation 3 version, a remake for the PlayStation 4, now they got a remake for PlayStation 5. This is going down that same route. Like, do we really need like another remake? The graphics are fine right now. They don't look bad. I'm trying to bring it up now on Steam, but I think it's actually one of the top sellers on Steam. Well, I'll look that up later. But anyways, for me, the game looks fine. It's pretty good gameplay. I don't think it really needs a massive update. And what are they going to charge it at is the most important part. Are you going to charge a full $70?
Yep.
For a 5-year-old game, like, and the graphics on the other one ain't that bad.
Well, that's the thing. Well, first and foremost, Mildew, permission to go second.
Permission granted.
Okay, so that's the thing, is that this is not going to be technically a 5-year-old game because they're completely remaking it. So it's going to be a 2023 game. So they're going to charge you $70 for it, which it's neither here nor there. Here's why I think that PlayStation is doing this. PlayStation / Guerrilla Games. Me, personally, before Forbidden West came out, I recently beat, like the day before it came out, I beat Horizon Forbidden West. The day before Forbidden West came out, or Zero Dawn. The day before Forbidden West came out. Yeah, so with that being said, me just being hot off of it, like, yes, there's a graphical increase there. And yes, it was much more stunning and everything like that. But I didn't need a remake or a remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn because I literally just played it. It looks beautiful, looks gorgeous still, plays well. It doesn't need to happen. Here's where my theory is kind of going. I am no longer the target audience for this remake. The target audience are for people that's getting themselves a PS5. They look on the shelf. They're like, I want to get Horizon Forbidden West. And then they see that, or Horizon Zero Dawn. And then they see that there's a Horizon Zero Dawn PS4 version. And they're like, I can't play that on my PS5, can I? You know what I mean? Those are going to be those very casual gamers, not the ones that like know that you can play PS4 games on your PS5. They're going to see that title. They're going to be like, PS4, I don't have a PS4. I just got this PS5. Let me go and get something else. So I think that's one of the reasons why. And then two, it is going to be, again, in compliant to, like I said, assuming with Horizon Zero Dawn remake happening, and it sounds like it's going to be in 2023, that is kind of telling me that they're doing this to try to get it as close as possible to the Horizon Netflix series. They want to tie it together. We saw what Edge Runner did to a game that pretty much died. That game was dead. No one was really truly playing it.
It was actually coming back up even before Edge Runner. I think Edge Runner just really gave it that power.
Edge Runner massively boosted it.
I would say it definitely gave it a massive boost, but it was still on its own road to recovery.
It was alive. And I won't let you take that away from me.
Don't listen to him, Nineball. Don't listen to him, Nineball. He's been talking to Ohio again.
It needed a bounce back. I mean, yeah, it was on the. So I will give you that. Cyberpunk was on the bounce back But Edge Runner helped to take it to its next level because now they're talking about. I'm reading right here. They're talking about a Cyberpunk 2077 sequel in a new Witcher game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was part. Yeah, that was part of the articles that they were talking about before. But like, literally, Edge Runner gave that game, that franchise, life again.
Yeah,
Like
but
at
for
least,
a
and
game like
even if it was on the uptick, as you guys are saying, even if it was on the uptick, Edge Runner made it get to that point much faster than it would have been
yeah,
without
it
it
was
just
it was
existing.
basically an adrenaline shot to it. I'll give you that.
Exactly.
It
Like
was
yeah,
the,
it was
ugh,
it was a huge boost, and now
It
they're
was their
seeing concurrent
Cybernetic
players.
Nitro.
Yeah,
the scene from
yeah. Now
the scene from
they're
Pulp
seeing
Fiction.
concurrent players. They're seeing a million concurrent players weekly now, which is something beautiful and great. But like, I think that these studios and the companies are seeing that, and they're like, all right, Witcher is doing great, and Witcher 3 is selling more than before, whatever the case is. Let's go ahead and try to pump more of these video game movies / series adaptations, and then trying to get more people inside the ecosystem that way. So that's what I think that PlayStation strategy is, which is why we have the Last of Us remake that just recently happened. Beginning of next year, at some point, we're going to have the HBO series. That's going to have more people inside of like, hey, now that I watched the series, let me go ahead and pick up the game. I want to play The Last of Us now. I think that's what they're doing here with Horizon. Because again, we have Horizon that's going to be happening. We got people that's going to be watching the Netflix show for the first time ever. Never even touched the game, but
I'm
after they
concerned
watch
about
the
that
show, after they watch the show, assuming it's great and fantastic or whatever, and they're like, you know what, I like this. This is a PlayStation Studio a movie. That I know PlayStation, they make games. Let me go ahead and pick up the game. Bam! Now you have the PS5 version that you just resold for $60-$70.
Trying to
You know
really
what I
think
mean?
of how.
So
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to really think
no,
of
no,
all the stuff they can do for it. Like I know they can update the graphics a bit, but I think the graphics were fine. I'm probably going to thinking more down the line of ray tracing
yeah. I was about to say, yeah, ray tracing is
and
definitely going to be one. Character
and,
models are going to be different.
and
Well,
the
they're gonna
load
probably
times
have
to
Z.
be greatly reduced and stuff.
Yeah, especially there's
Yeah,
really wasn't much load time anyways with Zero Dawn because it was a massive open world. The main load times you might have had were between some
going
cutscenes.
inside dungeons.
Well, there wasn't too much going inside that stuff. So a lot of it's mainly just going to be rendering, ray tracing, which is ray tracing Z depth maps on the character models to get more like life to them.
Yeah,
Get more of the
incorporate
smooth
more of the dual
transactions with
sense.
dual sense, more smooth transactions with videos, with the cutscenes and all. Some of the times where you have some of those areas where you do have a little bit of a load, if you've got like a main storyline or something that has like in and outdoors, if at all. Um, Other than that, it's really not much. I'm also kind of curious about the statement that they said about quality of life improvements. So I'm wondering, what they've added
Was
to
there
Fast
that.
like a lot of
travels.
glitch?
No,
No,
there wasn't a ton of glitches, but there were
Uh,
stuff like fast traveling, like that you could do in Forbidden West that you couldn't do in Zero Dawn and stuff like that. Like just small little things just to kind of make it to where you don't have to walk from one side of the map all the way to the other side of the
Well,
map and stuff like that.
see, I saw nothing wrong with just hopping on a board and just
I'm
riding the
right there
ship
with you
over.
too.
Just
Yeah,
all
I don't mind
around.
that too, but I know a lot of people were complaining about that.
I know. It's, pussies anyways. I'm sorry. That was degrading. I apologize. For me, I mean, it doesn't really bother me that they're doing this. What I mainly think of when I see them doing this is kind of just brings me back to some stuff I've heard about games coming forward for the PlayStation system is that they're only going to be um, launching for the 5. So their game companies are starting to kind of cut off going backwards on the 4, mainly doing stuff on the 5 with it, like you said, kind of the newer graphics, the newer, resolutions and all that, the better speeds and everything. They've got the 5s, why would they want an older game like the 4 in there when they could have the newer version, regardless of what's cheaper or not. So, literally, I feel like they're more or less just trying to take advantage of that to really like get it to those people, like you said, who are not us, the old target audience who came from the 4. It's mainly those that are mainly coming straight to the 5 and don't have anything transfer over to the 4. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
it would be nice if they offered a way for those who had it on the 4 if we could do like an upgrade price instead of an actual full buy. But we'll have to see. I kind
Oh,
of agree with
we're
them,
not.
although I
I can almost
don't
guarantee
feel
you
like
right
they
now, we're
need to
not going to
do.
get that.
What?
Hmm?
I was about to say I could guarantee you we're not going to get the free
We deserve it.
upgrade.
I never said free.
If
I never
they
said free. I said if we could have a discounted upgrade price, it'd be nice. But
No, I will free.
discounted,
Just
yeah.
count it as in 0.
But
yeah, that's what I said. We're not going to get that. But go ahead.
I mean, I kind of also kind of agree. Like, they could be doing it with correlation to the news about their Netflix series, which is very scary for me. And the main reason for that is just in the aspect of you've got giant ass, freaking Transformer dinosaur mechs walking around the plains and everything. Able to stomp on people and kill them hardcore and all. It's like it just makes me think of the Monster Hunter movie. I'm like, and how badly that was done. Yeah,
Oh God!
I'm throwing that out there,
God!
Nine Ball, as a
Oh
relation.
God!
Like, if they
Don't do
do,
that.
no, I'm doing that. I'm putting it
Don't
out
do
there as a
that.
warning. I'm putting it out there as a warning. They could go
No,
that
you're
route.
going out to make me sick. I'm gonna have to disconnect.
I'm throwing it out there
trash
because
can.
that's what I'm afraid of. That's what I am literally afraid of them doing is pulling something like that. So,
That was not
they've only
Monster
talked.
Hunter. That was never a Monster Hunter movie.
So
I personally, I'm
they've
actually
talked about
more.
this. I'm like, I'll wait to see more.
You better
But
not say
it's
you liked it. You better not say you like it, Flash.
Who,
but
me?
it's just
I haven't seen it.
that's the
Oh, okay.
concern for me is when you've got humans going with these giant creatures and all. It's like they did and people are like, well, they did with Transformers. They had Transformers in there and they did those fine. I'm like, yeah, but that was those groupings. Transformers its own set. You're talking about in an actual made up world, like a world that has to be almost CGI'd, or you have to go to different locations to do, because it is not New York City's backdrop. That you could just take a picture off of Google and use. You can't do that with this. So you've got a lot
Well,
of this stuff.
actually, you technically kind of could.
No, the towers are gone. Everything's dead. Central Park doesn't exist anymore. It's currently it's a giant cesspool. Anyways, moving on. Actually, I've already forgotten where Zero Dawn started to take place in.
I think San Francisco, didn't it?
No, you went towards San Francisco, which is the west, which is where Forbidden West came from. I want to say no, it was in Yellowstone. It was around the Yellowstone Park area. Sorry, I remember that. I think you could go into one of the spots that was around Yellowstone Park area. So my bad. It's Midwest is where they're at. But which at that point you probably could get away with it, because it's a lot of outdoor stuff there. But it's like you're talking apocalyptic. Like, this stuff is different and changed and all. So there's a lot you got to do there. I more or less see that Netflix series being kind of like a CGI animated or an anime version, just because there's a lot in there that is very playing around with a lot of different aspects and tools, like using parts of these creatures to create weaponry and stuff. And all, some of it definitely feels like it could be very made up, especially with some of the stuff from these creatures, like the blowbacks and a lot of these other flying creatures like the Stormbirds and all. There's a lot in there that's very sci-fi fantasy style. But apologies for the tirade there, but back onto the game. Do I feel like they need to do it? Not really, but I can understand why they're doing it, just to get on that bandwagon of let's upgrade this to the 5 version for those that are going off of 4 and onto the 5 and want to keep up that advanced graphics on the 5. Because yes, they look phenomenal still, even on the old 4 version. But when you talk about giving the 5 version treatment, that's where people are like, ooh, shiny, So
yeah, exactly, yeah. No, I'm right there again. It's kind of a bittersweet thing. Yes, I get what you guys are doing. You guys are making everything for current gen. It's no longer next gen. It's literally current gen now. But the bitter part is that for this particular story, I'm just not the target audience, which is what every consumer wants. They want to be the target audience for the product that they're interested in. So I mean, this sounds interesting. It's just is just coming a little too early. Like again, 5 years ago is when the game came out. I believe I could be wrong about this, but I think even Horizon Zero Dawn is even part of the PlayStation Plus collection. So it's just
Yeah,
like yeah,
I
so
want
it's
to say
like
it is.
they already have it on the because I know that Last of Us the remastered it is on the PlayStation Plus collection. So when they just made a PS5 version of it, it's almost like do you really need to do this? And and to Paris Lily's point from kind of funny, like he was also in the camp that's like, do you really need to do this? They got a review code and played it, and he's just like, no, like I can. This is the definitive way to play is the upgraded version. So I can see why they did it. However, if you played it before and you're not fiending for it, like right now, then this like just I wouldn't if you don't see yourself replaying the game again, don't pick up the PS5 version. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with Zero Dawn. I don't see myself replaying that over again, so I'm not going to pick up the PS5 version. And I'm happy for those that are going to be jumping inside the PS5 and for the first time ever, they're going to go ahead and be able to experience that at the optimum specs and all that. But yeah, Literally Just Silence says Horizon Forbidden West would be super underwhelming. Oh, hey there, then. I'm just going to need you to take yourself over to kill them for Dynamix, don't you know?
Midwest.
Midwest.
Yeah,
My
he's thinking
bad.
because, like I said,
Horizon
it was like that.
Midwest.
He's because I was saying, it was like the setting for Zero Dawn was around the Midwest area. I feel like because I feel like you went to at least I think you went to the Yellowstone-ish or something national park. Like there was one of the park like info cabins there. I'm already blanking on it because it's been about 5 years since I probably played it. I have gone back occasionally here and there just because it's fun. It's a really fun game. It just the replayability aspect is only like that and then New Game Plus and then you're kind of done. In a way, it doesn't have like those choice-based ones, like Dragon Age, Mass Effect, or so many other games where it's like you can have multiple playthroughs because you have different choices. So, but all in all, it is a good game. Lotus says, "Can you imagine like Minnesotan characters in that universe?" Though, oh, I definitely can. I can definitely see them coming out of the crucibles and all and everything, and just been like, damn, they've been fucked up. Totally. Who wants some cheese? What's cheese? I don't know.
I will say, kind of going back to your concern. Like, I get where your concern is at because again, video game and anime adaptations, their live action movies and series hasn't always been the greatest. I completely understand where you're coming from on that. I will say though that me personally, until proven wrong, I have more faith in this one just because it still is like PlayStation's thing. Like this is not like friggin' what's it called? Death Note, was a fantastic anime series as a general, and then was handed on over to somebody that just did not know what the heck they were doing, and they just have a terrible live action movie.
Here's the thing.
But since we're bringing up messed up animes, let's talk about some. Maybe they'll turn into The Last Avatar.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Is that all those anime adaptations that or video game adaptations even that became live action movies, like for the most part, they weren't underneath the same exact like for Nickelodeon wasn't the one that made the Last Airbender movie. Now, would it have been any better? No, I'm just saying it. But would it have been any better? We don't know. But I would have faith that. I'm just saying I would have more faith that Nickelodeon would have done a better movie than what came out before. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at right now. Is that
movies?
No. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm not saying that's going to be a guarantee hit. I'm just saying in general. You said what?
I think he's already. Oh,
you said another one's coming out. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say. I'm not saying that's going to be a guarantee hit. I'm just saying that the likelihood of it failing that hard is going to be less because again, going back on over to the Uncharted movie that came out, like I played all of the Uncharted games and I beat all the Uncharted games. And
but Uncharted just feels like that like just a standard shoot 'em up movie though. There's really no fantastical elements to it.
Yeah, and you are again to a T. You are correct about that. And when I went to go see the movie, like was friggin' Tom Holland Nathan Drake to me? Like he was funny. Was he necessarily Nathan Drake? Not exactly, but the acting was still pretty good and the direction was still pretty good. Mark Wahlberg as Sully, not exactly Sully to me because again, me playing as the gamer, watching it as a movie, it wasn't a one for one, but I saw where they were going for that. It was entertaining for me. But then on my wife, on the other hand, she saw it, completely has no idea about the game itself, and she thought it was a fantastic movie. So just one of those things where it's just like it's just I think that there's still love and care that's put behind it. It's just what can they do with it, and it'll be different. It'll be a challenge for Horizon because, like you said, there's mechs. They're all giants and stuff like that, CGI and everything like that. It's gonna have to be a major role.
They're gonna have to drop some money onto the budget.
Yeah, but I hear where you're coming from. You know, Malachi. The only thing I gotta say though is, you know, just to be that Debbie Downer, it could stay in the same studio.
Devil's advocate.
It could be in the bestest of studios. Doesn't mean they give it the bestest of teams. You know,
and that's literally what I was just. That's what I was just saying just now. Is that it doesn't guarantee that's going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah,
it's likely it'll be better than if it was given to somebody else.
That's what we can. That's all we can hope for. You know, but that's why I said, you know, I'm not gonna like rate it or anything. It just it gave me some concerns. You know, with as I called out, you know, Monster Hunter
PTSD.
It was just flashbacks. It's like, no, don't do this to a game I love.
You know, that movie said I watched it with kids. Like I watched it with the kids on my niece's birthday. And to be honest, the kids they had no idea what it was about. So they
for what movie?
Monster Hunter
World.
The Monster Hunter movie they made.
My thing with sorry, going ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know, it gave me the concerns, but I'm hoping for like the best thing ever because Horizon is just a fantastic game, guys. It is story worthy. Like there's a lot in it that just makes you really kind of connect to these people and all that are in here in this whole situation that's going on with the world. Because just to kind of throw it out there, if you guys don't know anything about the Horizon universe, is that Horizon takes place after the world kind of effed itself up. You know, like we got too compliant with stuff. We built robot AIs trying to, you know, make ourselves better and all, and then everything just went to shits. And a lot of it was kind of based on like, you know, big corporation bosses are the one like in charge who built a lot of this stuff and all that, and everything just started snowballing. And the world started dying, and then it's like now they had to like try and like, you know, find a way of like, you know, keeping everyone alive, and they did this whole arc type thing with the world, and shit's still going on even afterwards, and it's a fantastic story, guys. So a lot of deep lore in the past, a lot of stuff going on in the currents into the future, and you know, I've already played through Zero Dawn. TBF Abyss is actually platinumed it. I'm right behind them, so we're actually waiting for. We're definitely believing there's 3 coming out, so can't wait to see what happens. You know, maybe it's a Horizon World. You know, something I don't know. We'll see.
A couple fun ones here, real quick for you guys before we dip on out for the day. Fun one number 1, Nintendo Direct for Mario. It's going to be the Mario movie itself. Eddie Makuch from GameSpot says Nintendo has announced its next Nintendo Direct and it's coming soon. The event will take place this Thursday, October 6th, and will be focused on the Super Mario Brothers movie. The first trailer for the movie will make its debut, and presumably the broadcast will include other news and updates around the film. There will be no game announcements, however. The event begins at 1:05 p.m. Pacific time, which is 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We already knew the first trailer for the film was coming this week during the New York Comic Con. As announced previously, the trailer will premiere on October 6th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and with the Nintendo Direct event set to begin 5 minutes later. Aces is going to hyperventilate. We were just talking about video game movies. So, again, this is underneath the umbrella of Nintendo. We'll see how this goes, and hopefully it's a good one. Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, what if you saw the last Super Mario Brothers with Dennis Hopper?
What's the name? Peach comes through with like guns and saying we got to go save the world at the very end or something like that.
Yeah. I just got to enter that one Goomba playing that song. Ain't got no water anywhere. Oh my god!
Fun one number two.
Oh god, it's
Fun
drama.
one number two we have is PlayStation Plus
They're bringing
games.
it back.
Stephen Petit from GameSpot says this in the article. The PlayStation Plus free games lineup for October 2022 goes live today, October 4th. All PlayStation Plus subscribers can claim Hot Wheels Unleashed, Injustice 2, and Super Hot throughout October. Overall, this is a solid lineup of freebies, so make sure you snag them while you can. So if you guys haven't done so already, go ahead and add it to your library.
Injustice 2 is pretty good. I played that.
I heard the story is really good. I heard the story was really good on
the
that one.
Injustice story it's very good. I mean, it's basically Joker kills Superman's family and he snaps.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like. There's different universes. I know there's one where it's like they just snap already, but it's like the villains then have to try and be like the good guys almost, and it's kind of weird.
Well,
it's hilarious.
After the Joker killed her, basically Superman snaps, kills the Joker, and then takes over and basically says, "I'm gonna do the laws from now on," which causes heroes to take sides. So you got some with Superman because Joker basically after he killed his family nuked all of Metropolis, and basically he goes, no, this is stopping. I'm basically doing the law. The law, I'm dealing with the law. Yeah, the law shall ability you do the law. You're gonna be judged by me. And he starts killing a lot of people. Superman goes into a tangent. So it's basically Team Superman versus Batman side. Because Batman stands here and goes, no, we can't. There has to be a line. Otherwise, you're more or less a dictator. So you got some heroes that go with Superman, you got some that go with Batman. It's a pretty good story. I believe they have a show. Yeah, they have a series on it already, like an animated series called Injustice. I want to say it's on HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, you can check it out.
So Silent in the chat says, "Nah, Joker gets Superman to accidentally kill Lois, and he goes
I remember that. Yeah, he tricks him into killing Lois, and then he placed a bomb in her, and he didn't know that she was pregnant with her son.
That one hit me. That hit me. Okay, I'm gonna have to check this out, man. That hit me.
Yeah, it was.
Joker.
And Superman after that just snaps. Like Batman catches the Joker, and Superman just flies into the interrogation room and just kills him right there.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
A lot of people actually in that one didn't blame Superman for that one at all.
No.
He goes at it and he goes, no, this is, and he basically takes full control over the world.
Yeah, he pretty much goes full dictator, which is the problem.
Full dictator. He basically goes to take over the world at this point. And it's basically Batman's crew who's trying to stop Superman from doing world domination. And versus
Superman's who's Superman. Like, no, like we're done with
Superman. I think it's Superman, Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman sides with Superman. Cyborg, I believe, sides with Superman. I think Supergirl sides with Batman. Harley Quinn sides with Batman. He pulls some of the villains, and he basically tells them, "You either side." Superman pulls the villains. Basically, you either side with me, I'm gonna kill you. That's basically your demands right now. Robin, that's right. Robin sides with Superman.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you said Harley Quinn sided with Batman and Supergirl sided with Batman, that's when I was like, all right, Robin or Nightwing, whoever it's going to be, is probably going to be with Superman.
Side. I can't remember. I think Nightwing. It's Nightwing. I don't think Nightwing's even in there. I think he.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe DLC possibly. I don't know.
I know Flash sides with Batman and goes, "No, Superman, you done gone too far, bro. You can't go for world domination."
I know they've got the comic series, the Gods Among Us one.
Yeah, Injustice Gods Among Us.
Yeah, they got that comic.
Very interesting.
Trying to figure out the team splits.
Shazam sides with Superman. Yeah, I would say he's with Superman. But a lot of them pick sides. It's a very interesting story. It's one of those what if storylines, though.
All the non-supers got these like super pills to make them able to compete. Supes ends up getting incredibly violent, even toward people who are quote unquote with him. Yeah, so I'll check this out. It's like I can add it to my PlayStation Plus library now. So I'm after hearing that, I am a little bit more excited to check that out because I just chalked it up as a fighting game and that was it. But if it's
No,
going to be
it
a little bit
has
more
an
of a plot
actual.
line
It
to
has an
it,
actual story. It has an
yeah,
actual story
yeah,
and
that's
plot.
I'm probably going to
yeah,
check that
that's
on that
making me
too.
that's making me more that's making more in tune with it. Fun
Sort of
one number
like.
three, we it's
Oh, going ahead.
fun one number three we has is an anime update, which is Bleach's new season on here. David Walensky from GameSpot says VIZ Media has announced that Bleach Thousand Year Blood War anime will be exclusively streaming on PlayStation Plus and Hulu. According to the release, Bleach will air on Disney Plus internationally and come to Hulu in the US starting October 10th. The entertainment company also revealed that the name's English dub will feature many returning cast members, including Johnny Young Bosch, Michelle Ruff, and Derek Stephen Prince. The show's returning Japanese cast also includes cast members who have not appeared in the anime but are reprising their roles from the Bleach Brave Souls video game. The anime will run for 4 quarters and with breaks in between airing episodes. Thousand Year Blood War arc is the manga's final arc, covers volumes 55 through 74. So I want to throw that in there because there's a little confusion, especially on my end when it came down to Bleach and on Hulu, because I finished Bleach, by the way, on the anime, so I'm all the way caught up on Bleach, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Well,
But
I'm
the
proud
thing,
of you.
yeah, thank you. I mean, I tried harder than that, but like as I was getting towards the end of my Bleach like marathon, I started seeing that it says that the Bleach episodes were expiring in like 2 weeks, and I was just like, oh, it's leaving Hulu's. Like I started watching this at the perfect time, so it's kind of weird that they took it off and then it looks like they're gonna put it back on for Hulu and Disney Plus, which that was kind of throwing me off a little bit, but again, as long as it's back there and I have a way of watching it, I was expecting to watch it on Crunchyroll, but if it's going to be back on Hulu and Disney Plus, hey, I'll be keeping Disney Plus a little longer than anticipated.
Um,
So there you
uh,
go.
for me, this one actually has something. Well, I've never seen the anime Bleach itself. I am glad. And I was a bit worried when I see that, but I am glad that they're doing two things. First, they're finishing it,
Yes,
and two, a lot of the old people, a lot of the old cast members, they are getting them to reprise their role. That could be
yes.
really important because these people actually have experience in the anime, and it gets them another shot. And they will have probably better voice acting because they will have more of an inside mind into their character.
And on top of that, we'll have new technology too versus what we had before. Because as I was watching Bleach, I was
Yeah.
watching it on my TV. I have like a 75-inch like 4K TV, right? So when I was watching it in the earlier seasons, the picture didn't take up the full screen. It only took up like 16.9 of the screen.
Well, I'm
So
sorry we only had 1080 max back in the old days.
but I'm
I am
just saying,
so
but
sorry. My apologies.
as the series proceeded on, I want to say maybe around season. It was it was around the time period that the Rancor arc going inside the other arc, which I don't want to say. But after the Rancor arc, that's when it started getting full screen and it covered up my entire screen. So I was just like, that was just proof of technology moving in that one anime alone, because Bleach has been around for a while.
How
So
many episodes?
yeah,
Like
so
800?
Honestly, yes, but cut that in half because 400 is practically filler.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of filler. I thought it was going to be almost like, because I ended up watching all of Bleach in like a month and a half, and that was with me like towards the end I started binging it a lot more, but that was me kind of like somewhat casually watching it throughout the months. So but yeah, there's a ton of filler episodes in Bleach, and for some of those episodes, even though that they're filler, it looks like they would be still interesting to watch. So I would encourage you guys to kind of watch some of those filler episodes still. And then the last little fun one. Well, before we go on that, literally just silence says, bear in mind all this was Injustice 1, so no idea what they do with Injustice 2. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was in. I
Very
remember
interesting.
I beat Injustice 2 also. Yeah, I also did Injustice 2 as well. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. What?
I was looking around. The only thing I
it
found
deals-
was like Injustice, like Gods Among Us.
yeah, Injustice 2
Yeah, that's
deals
the first
with
one.
I want to
Yes.
say it deals with kind of an enemy comes to the planet and Batman kind of needs Superman.
Mm.
I'll have to look at that. But like in
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
like
and they
Gods
go in.
Among Us, looks like the splits was like Batman, Catwoman with
Yeah, I
they
remember
had Black Canary, Green Arrow. It says taken from separate universe later returns, and Green Arrow split from alternate universe engaged to Black Canary. Batgirl, Zatanna, Red Hood, Harley Quinn, John Constantine, Dick Grayson, Devin 2, Mirror Master, Deathstroke, Flash, defected from the regime, Atom, defected from the regime, Supergirl, defected from the regime, Blue Beetle from the Titans, Firestorm from the Titans, Hal Jordan, defected from the regime, Black Lightning, defected from the regime, Sub-Zero, multiverse ending, not sure what that means.
that was
Alfred,
just
Plastic Man,
Mortal Kombat. They had like Raiden because it was another round
okay.
game. They Raiden, Sub-Zero was in there. I think Scorpion. I want to say Scorpion was in there.
Yeah, you're talking about DC Universe versus Mortal Kombat.
No, we're talking about Injustice because it is
Well,
another
it's supposed to
round
be the game
game.
that you. Yeah, but before Injustice, there was a game that had DC Universe versus
Yeah, I
the
remember
Mortal
DC
Kombat.
versus Mortal Kombat
So
versus DC, but this Injustice
yeah,
also had them because Sub-Zero is in there. So as Raiden was in
interesting.
there.
Interesting.
So it looks like
Uh,
the enemies was Superman, the regime.
Yeah.
Current members are
Wonder Woman was in there.
Yep, he's the founder. Wonder Woman's co-founder. Hot Girl, Cyborg, Raven, Robin, Nightwing, Killer Frost, Gitter, Black Adam, Solomon Grundy, Doomsday, and then looks like a lot of them were former because they were deceased or defected.
I believe he's mind controlling Doomsday. They had something on him that was controlling him.
It says imprisonment in the Phantom Zone. I know he was doing. I thought he was that anyways. But yeah, he goes.
Yeah, he goes pretty crazy.
And there's also a third group in there. It looks like it's just the GCPD Resistance.
Yeah.
On the plus
PlayStation
side,
2.
both of these the first Injustice in general was already on PlayStation Plus a long time ago, and I've already added it to my library, so I could just re-download that. So from what it sounds like I should probably just go download that one, play that, and then download and play Injustice 2, because it sounds interesting to me for sure.
Yeah, it's an actual story. The solo play is an actual story to it. So yeah, it's sort of like DC Universe. Remember? I don't know if you remember. You remember the beginning of DC Universe's story?
Yep.
Yeah.
With Brainiac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
But yeah, the story is really good.
Last little fun one. Scorn moves up. Wesley LeBlanc from Game Informer says this in the article. Publisher Kelper Interactive and developer Ebb Software has revealed that Scorn's release date has changed, moving up a week early in October. The game will now release on October 14th instead of previously announced October 21st. As for why, the team does not say. However, a new teaser trailer released today and is titled, quote unquote, "You've waited long enough." So perhaps the studio simply wants to get the games to its players' hands sooner. So, news for you there, Nineball. Scorn, literally 10 days away from now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it on Xbox. It's coming day one of Xbox Game Pass, so I'll get it from there.
It'll forever be on Game Pass too, because don't they own like that studio?
Wow, Ebb Software had a weird history. It originally started as a Kickstarter game, and that's where the biggest problem. And then I believe it was picked up by Xbox. Yeah, give me a second. But what happened? Yes, Serbian. Okay, Ebb Software. It was picked up by. I'm gonna say it was picked up by. It was picked up by Xbox. Yeah, it was. No, it's coming out to Epic too, and Steam. Well, it would be coming out to Steam. But no, Xbox picked up the game and helped them fund it, I believe. Also, on top of the Kickstarter, and this kind of pissed people off because they completely redid it and they pushed it back pretty far, and then you didn't hear nothing about it. And then we got that pretty nasty comment that we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, the letter from the team and all, like which they came back saying,
one guy,
"I am so sorry."
Yeah, the one guy kind of said something he shouldn't have, and
Yeah,
and I'm glad to see it's finally launching though.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it
Finally.
does a pretty good launch. It looks good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our All Things Gaming episode 35, season 2 for October 4, 2022. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. This Thursday is going to be we're going to be resuming our Monster Hunter World run through Iceborne. I unfortunately was not on the last Monster Hunter World stream, mainly because I was not feeling well. So I had to lay down. You know what I mean? Try to get the body back to a healthy state. So lucky for us, we're all is good now. And hopefully we'll be good this Thursday when we stream 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. Malachi, Blue Burst stream when? Blue Burst stream when?
Per stream.
Blue Burst stream.
Blue Burst stream. I could be completely oblivious right now, but I don't know what you're talking about. I apologize. Unless you're talking about Blue Burst, I guess that's a sort of online reference. So there you go. but no, we'll be streaming this coming Thursday. This coming Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be on the lookout for that. Once again, I am Malachi36. This is Mildewy Carrot. Fantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2 Blue Burst is PC servers for Classic PSO. Gotcha. Fantasy Star Online.
Founded in 2013 by highly motivated individuals.
Free.
If it's free, it's for me. That's speaking my language right there. Speaking my language.
I'm concerned about
and then
you.
It's the 9-ball. I love you too, man. Love you too. Yep, and then, like I said, just be on the lookout for the streams until we come back to our next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're just going to be talking video game news and more updates on that for you guys. Until next time, everybody, Control, Alt,
Complete.
Complete.
Peace.